He was another actor that had a career that was cut short, working in Hollywood as a star and being an activist in his own personal issues. Living with AIDS in his later life and being known for being an activist to stop and even prevent this disease from spreading to people and even to himself. As one of these, he was also being described as one of the actors who lived with the disease for a long time. He played characters based on war heroes, detectives, cowboys, and even the everyday man, becoming part of the LGBT community and supporting this community throughout his career as an actor. This is Rock Hudson, and this is his basic biography. Early life. Rock Hudson was born on the 17th of November 1925 in Illinois, USA. His father was a mechanic and his mother was a telephone operator who lived in Winnebago area of the state. He would grow up during the Great Depression and had been living in a working class environment, with his father later losing his job due to the effects of the Depression. After his father lost his job, he would divorce his mother and would later leave the family. However, Rock Hudson would attend schools during to mid-late 1930s and even excel in his studies. Whilst at school, he was interested in acting and performing in various plays, and even having a passion that was fueled based on the working on various stage performances at school. He would later enlist in the United States Navy to fight in the Second World War during the late 1930s to the mid 1940s. By fighting in the Pacific Campaign, he managed to earn some medals with the chance of working as a mechanic for the Navy straight after. Once the war was over, he continued to study and did not attend any universities, even the University of California, when he moved back to the United States. Acting career. He was able to take time to be an actor at his young age. He was able to graduate from high school, but didn't attend any universities in California. When he moved over, since he left the Navy, he would even be not accepted for the other prestigious universities. Rock Hudson had to work odd jobs just to build himself and his acting career, and even still work on his acting skills. He would work as a mechanic and as a driver in various trucking companies. He would even keep going as an actor by improving his acting skills, even taking time to perform in small stage roles. During the mid 1940s, he tried to look for more performances on stage, but was able to find himself working in Hollywood by Hollywood executives and talent scouts finding him in for their new movies. Then himself would be the leading star of the silver screen. His first film was the 1948 film called Fighter Squadron, and would play a minor role, with this using his experience in the war taken to account. Once this film was successful enough, many production companies would offer him multiple roles, then build up on his acting and dancing skills for various roles that incorporated different skills within each movie. He would continue to act throughout the 1950s by working with well-known actors and actresses, even directors in the industry. The next film he would star in was called Peggy in 1950, and using his acting skills to work in the comedy genre films at the time. Then starring in the film The Fat Man a year later in 1951, where he was able to be typecasted as a detective for his acting style of being an action star and even being able to play as a leading man. Naval officer to Hollywood star. Rock Hudson would continue acting throughout the 1950s as he was a leading man now and even would awards based on his performances. Not because he was the new leading star, but he was able to incorporate a young persona or a young person style of acting, which was popular, or the new popularity of character that was used in cinema throughout the 1950s. He would show his athletic skills and even acting skills in the movie Iron Man in 1951 with co-star Jeff Chandler. This would show that he would work with Hollywood elites and even boost his acting credits. Straight after the movie was released, and even many movies after that, Rock Hudson would be able to continue to act in bigger budget movies. Once he played the young, rebellious character, he was able to play in various films at that same character and even different characters. He would change himself to be playing the everyday man, to the lover that many female leads would love. He would star in the Academy Award winning movie Giant in 1956, that would be having him up against the rival star James Dean, who would fight for the love of the fellow actress or fellow co star Elizabeth Taylor, showing that Rock Hudson could play the hero or the person which people would root for in many films. He would contend with other actors to get the top billing for big budget movies, based on his rivalry against Marlon Brando and even the older William Holden, who were more heroes of the silver screen. He managed to get himself onto television after getting himself to appear as himself on the screen, then playing various characters later on. Rock Hudson still kept his leading man credits during the 1960s, where he was able to play war heroes, adventurers, and even the everyday man again, that women would fall in love throughout this period of acting. He starred in the movie Send Me No Flowers in 1964, where he was able to have a relationship with Doris Day and made them one of the greatest on screen couples, with a chance to show his comedy chops. Then starring with John Wayne in the western The Undefeated in 1969. Personal life and final years. Rock Hudson was married once and had no children, with his wife, and her name was Phyllis Gates, and their relationship lasted from 1955 to 1958. He would date other actresses before getting married to his wife, and would have relationships with female stars when he was starting off in Hollywood movies. He was an activist as well as being part of the LGBT community after being divorced from his wife. His activism was supported and even used to support the LGBT community and he even identified himself as a homosexual in his later career. This would not affect him as a Hollywood star, but he would continue to be a great actor. Even having people in various communities supporting him and he supporting them. His activism even was helped to support people with HIV and AIDS, which affected people around the world and even Hollywood stars, and even himself later on. The 1970s would see him star in a few movies and television series based on popular shows at the time. The movies that he was able to star in were great, but these movies in the 1970s were Embryo in 1976, Showdown in 1973, and Avalanche in 1978, where he was able to play with bigger stars and even have a chance to play in more genres later on. He would be able to win multiple awards in his career and even have the chance to support Hollywood itself and even people outside of Hollywood. One of the best TV series in the same a decade that had him as the leading man was called Macmillan and Wife, where he was able to play the main character Macmillan. Whilst in the 1980s, he would appear in some movies that were great at the time and even was staple on the television screen. But his last film was the Las Vegas Strip War, or the Vegas Strip War in 1984, and his final film TV appearance was in Dynasty in that same particular year. Legacy and death. Sadly, Rock Hudson passed away on the 2nd of October 1985 at the age of 59. His death was caused by an AIDS-related illness and had been campaigning for change in medicine to support the cure of this disease, with himself being able to be HIV positive throughout his later career. His legacy still lives on, with most industries and medical institutions now being able to cure AIDS and HIV with the support of the world. Rock Hudson was classed as one of the greatest actors of all time, even being part of the LGBT community when it wasn't fully formed, and Hollywood was even not able to enlist many actors and actresses who were part of the community. With a chance for all actors to be supported, and even actresses as well, to be supported in this community, even having himself being able to provide this community with the support they needed. He was able to be honored by many organizations and had his own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, to being part of the League of Circle of Friends, which were based on four different presidents of the time. Even President Reagan was one of his friends during the height of his Hollywood career. Other actors and actresses, and even people in general, were able to be inspired by him for being a hero to many at the time. Due to his success and his contribution to medicine based on stopping AIDS, he was able to be a large contribution to Hollywood, and even being honored by Hollywood themselves and other organizations that were able to help him to become a legendary actor. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't done so. My name is Suki Cookie, and I do have more content like this. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.